Is recognized for 1 hour.
Mr. Speaker, for the purpose of debate only, I yield the customary 30 minutes to my colleague on the Rules Committee, the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Diaz-Balart. All time yielded during consideration of the rule is for debate only, and I ask for unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days within which to revise and extend their remarks and to insert extraneous materials.
Without objection, so ordered.
I will yield myself such time as I may consume, Mr.
The gentleman
Speaker.
from Colorado is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, House Resolution 281 provides for consideration of H.R. 1404, the Federal Land Assistance Management and Enhancement, or FLAME Act, under a structured rule. The rule provides 1 hour of general debate controlled by the Committee on Natural Resources. The rule makes in order 13 amendments, which are listed on the Rules Committee report accompanying the resolution. Each amendment is debatable for 10 minutes. The rule also provides 1 motion to recommit with or without instructions. All members were given an opportunity to submit amendments to the Rules Committee on the bill, and a number of members on both sides of the aisle did so. 21 amendments were submitted to the Rules Committee on this bill. 2 amendments were subsequently withdrawn. 3 amendments were non-germane to the underlying bill. Of the remaining 16, 13 remained in order, 5 of those from Republican sponsors. This was a very fair rule and a very fair process. My district and the state of Colorado are tied closely to the lands and landscapes that our citizens interact with on a daily basis. These landscapes are majestic and rugged and define the character of Colorado. The FLAME Act ends a cycle of growing costs for fighting wildfires. These costs are draining the coffers of our federal land management agencies. The character of our wilderness is being tested every summer when districts like mine and many others face the threat of wildfires, and anxiety grows in the minds of mountain residents and local communities. This anxiety has grown in recent years due to the health of forests, which has worsened. Mr. Speaker, the FLAME Act is a bill of personal interest to me and the residents of Colorado. My district, like many western districts, is dealing with a mountain pine beetle outbreak of catastrophic proportions. This outbreak has killed millions of acres of lodgepole pines, altering the landscape, and has put more Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Montana and Idaho communities at risk of wildfire. I bring your attention to this picture. This is some land in my district in Grand County near Granby, Colorado. My district has many tourists coming through it. I have Vail, Beaver Creek, Copper Mountain, Winter Park, and recently I had somebody who came through in July notice that many of our trees were red and said, "Fall comes early in Colorado." I had to respond that no, it's not fall. Our trees are dying. This is a typical landscape across many parts of the mountain west of Colorado. The red trees are actually dead or in the process of dying, having been felled by the pine beetle. The danger is that when we have a forest of dead trees, it is in effect a tinderbox and is a major forest fire risk. This bill includes amendments and the underlying language that frees up resources to help address the underlying causes of forest fires rather than just after the fact dealing with the emergencies. The culprit in this particular case, the mountain pine beetle, a small little fellow, Dendronticus ponderosi. I have some here, life-size. Again, not just affecting Colorado, affecting many areas of our mountain west. And in addition to the devastation of our forests visually and ecologically, creating a very real risk of forest fires, which this bill gives us the ability to begin to address. Our land management agencies are working quickly to reduce the potential fire risks where communities and wildlands come face to face. These wildland urban interface zones, or WUI zones, are critical in decreasing the number and threat of catastrophic wildfires. But our agencies simply don't have the resources to effectively respond to the risk or the increased risk because of the changes. The Forest Service and Bureau of Land Management have multiple environmentally friendly projects simply waiting to be funded. Fire suppression costs have increased with alarming speed in recent years. In 2008, fire suppression costs consumed 46% of the Forest Service's budget, compared to 13% in 1991. The account established in the FLAME Act frees up capital and resources for needed and lasting forest health improvements. Mr. Speaker, the beetle epidemic in the West puts Coloradans on the front lines of changing climate. which only further strains our national land management budgets. Across the nation, climate and weather modeling shows the future to be growing both drier and hotter. These models point to extreme, intense thunderstorms with insufficient quantities of rain. Our communities deserve a land management policy that not only reflects crucial priorities, but is unimpeded by the costs of frequent and overwhelming fires and the crises that arise from time to time. Our policy needs to make sure that as these fires grow in scope and number, we're not forced to make hard choices between money and safety, between dealing with catastrophes and preventing them from occurring. This is exactly what this legislation is designed to do. The FLAME Act addresses the anxiety of our communities by removing hurdles that currently restrict the Forest Service and BLM's ability to proceed with projects. By establishing the FLAME Fund, this bill separates the increasing costs of fighting fires from the annual budget that agencies rely on for maintenance and mitigation. This bill keeps the critical budget of our Forest Service from being consumed by potentially just one or two major wildfires each year. Mr. Speaker, this bill has gained the support of every environmentally conscious constituency, from land management agencies to environmental and community leaders to local governments. It's garnered bipartisan support, as reported out of the National Resources Committee and the 110th Congress by a voice vote. Mr. Speaker, I want to reiterate the importance and the critical nature of this legislation to thousands of communities like mine across the nation and to millions of acres of our public lands. This is an excellent opportunity to provide natural resources, necessary resources to our Forest Service and BLM so they can do the work that they are meant to do and prevent forest fires from occurring. I urge the passage of the bill and the rule